What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I am here to give you guys my immediate, or as immediate as I can make it, immediate reaction to UFC 325. This was a generational pay-per-view. I had to bring out the Australia hat as well as the Tuivasa shirt. We went amazing on predictions, and the most important thing to take away, my voice is absolutely gone. I was just at this event. Alexander Volkanovski is the greatest featherweight of all time. We already knew it, but now the arguments, they are disappearing into thin air. This was a great performance from Volkanovski. Exactly the same as the first time. There was a few little tweaks that he made to his game, but I think he came in really smart. Just doing the same exact thing, using that lateral footwork, circling around the cage, making Diego Lopes chase him because he wasn't able to cut him off, and mixing in takedowns, mixing in the clinch, going to that body lock that kind of saved him at the end of that fight. Just burned a lot of that last 30 seconds. Even when Diego Lopes seemed to get like some back control, Volk ended up on top, and that kind of sealed the deal at the end of the fifth round. But throughout the first 3 rounds, Volkanovski jabbing him up, moving around, pulling him into that overhand right, stepping off on the angles, retaking the center of the octagon. I was watching it live and just thinking, bro, this is the exact same fight that we saw back in April 2025. Diego Lopes swinging big shots, 1 or 2 at a time. You know, the crowd oohs and ahs, but nothing really landing clean on Volkanovski. He did drop him in the 3rd round, I believe, with a nasty kind of in-close right hand that just sat down Volk for a second. I still gave Volk that round. I do agree with the 50-45 scorecard. I just feel like this was a display of like Volkanovski, like I said in the fucking prediction. I'm trying not to yell because I have neighbors. I'm in a hotel, okay? I'm trying not to yell, dude. But Volkanovski is simply just better than Diego Lopes. He's more tactical. He had way better footwork. He circled around the cage. He made it impossible for Lopes to track him down. We didn't see anything really change from Lopes except for that 5th round where he really went to the grappling. Volkanovski did a decent job, not as good as the first fight in terms of offensive wrestling. There was that whole sequence in the first fight where he took down Lopes, beat him up, and I thought he would go to that more in this fight. It seemed like that's what he wanted, but Lopes did a good job defending the takedowns, especially the single leg. Volkanovski did jump the fucking ghillie at one point, which was kind of crazy. I think it was at the end of that 2nd round. He jumped the ghillie, and Lopes ended up on his back. Not really anything there submission-wise. But yeah, other than those little nuances that kind of changed, which was more grappling being involved. Obviously, if you're Volkanovski, you look at that 1st round, which was the most dominant round of that fight, and you think, all right, I want to do that this time instead of striking with him and potentially getting chinned. But Lopes did a good job defending the takedowns just like the first fight. Couldn't really track him down. Couldn't really hurt him with anything crazy. And Volkanovski just dictated the range, the pace of the fight. He decided when it was going to be active and high pace and big exchanges, and then he would just back off and he would just circle, and you'd blink your eyes and 2 minutes would go by. So Volkanovski, technically very, very impressive victory. Another easy win against Diego Lopes, even easier than the first fight. This dude is genuinely the featherweight GOAT. There's nothing you can say. He's top 5 all time. He is, you know, better than Jose Aldo all time. I'm sorry for anybody that still believes otherwise. How can you fucking deny it when Jose Aldo had 1 or 2 featherweight title runs? Okay, fair enough. Frankie Edgar's a good win. Chad Mendes, these are good wins. But, you know, TKZ, okay, that's a better win than when Volkanovski beat him. Volkanovski, Diego Lopes twice, Max Holloway 3 times, Brian Ortega, when he was like only had 1 loss, and it was to Max Holloway, right? Already also has a win over TKZ. Oh, by the way, also has a win over Chad Mendes. Oh, by the way, also has a win over Jose Aldo. Volkanovski's the featherweight GOAT. His only loss in the division is to fucking Elliott, who is pound for pound number 2 right now, undefeated. So this just removes all doubt. I don't want to hear anything else of like, dude, Volkanovski's low-key, bro. Low-key, Volk lost that fight to Diego. Bro, low-key, Diego wins this fight, bro. I'm done with that shit, bro. I want to see Volkanovski, if he does stick around, fight Lerone Murphy or Evloev, or if they fight each other, then maybe at the end of this year, we get the winner of Evloev versus Murphy against Volk. And I think those are pretty winnable fights for him. I think that the way that I describe it is those guys are better than Diego Lopes, but they're not more dangerous than Diego Lopes. Like, there's more potential for a knockout with Lopes than there is with like Murphy or fucking Evloev. So I think Volkanovski can stick around, but I also wouldn't be mad if he just retired because he's fucking goated. And the walkout was absolutely insane. I'll talk about it more in my video, talking about my whole trip to Sydney for UFC 325, all the UFC fighters that I met, because I did get to meet Volk and I met a bunch of other people as well, and I've got some crazy stories to tell you guys in my next video, but I want to keep this just to the fights. Volkanovski 50-45 co-main event. Listen, bro, we are all rope maxing. We are all listen, dude, we knew Benoit Saint-Denis was gonna win this. The only people that thought Dan Hooker was going to fucking win this are the Kiwi casuals, bro. And I love you guys. I know you know this. You know that I love when you go, nah, G, Dan Hooker, knee up the middle, G. Dan Hooker's going to sleep him, G. Listen, I understand it, bro. I understand that BSD is not Arman Tsarukyan. And you know what? The first thing I said when I watched this fight was I just sat back and was like, I'm still not calling BSD good, bro. Because Dan Hooker did win that first round. Dan Hooker had some great takedown defense in this fight. Good range management, which is what BSD said as well. Good front kicks to the body, landed some nice shots. BSD did kind of come on late in that first round, but then the second round, it was all downhill from there because Dan Hooker, in the first round, he did go to the guillotine attempt. He mainly stayed away from it, though, from the Arman Tsarukyan fight and just stripped the grips, went back out into the open, went back to those kicks at range, doing a good job. And then in the second round, he tries to take down Benoit Saint-Denis. And I believe that's what led to him being on bottom. And there was also a really nasty outside trip that BSD hit. But once he got to the mount in this fight, because like I said in my prediction video, BSD, he's going straight to mount. He's going straight to the back. When he got to the mount in this fight, he did try a head and arm choke for like an egregious amount of fucking time. And I want to give respects to Dan Hooker. It was kind of funny, though, because in the crowd, when Dan Hooker was in the fucking head and arm, we're all panicking. We're like, bro, he's cooked. He gets out and the whole room starts clapping and cheering while BSD just goes from choking him to like, okay, and just starts beating the fuck out of him. The crowd's cheering, like clapping for Dan Hooker. Like, good job, bro. Now you're out. Now you're getting elbowed in the face. So it was a tough finish for Dan Hooker. I think that Herb Dean kind of let him take a lot of damage when he was pretty much done. But I understand that that's Hooker's mentality, right? He's the fucking BMF. He wants to fight. He doesn't care, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that he probably said, yo, listen, just let me go out cold. But yeah, pretty nasty finish from BSD. Via ground and pound elbows from the mount. Very good grappling. A little bit sloppy, but that's what BSD does. This is what he does. But you know what I like about this fight? Even though, listen, I'm an Aussie. You know, the Kiwis, they're like my cousins from down the road. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad to see Dan Hooker lose. I feel like this is a real down point in his career. I do think Paddy Pimblett beats him. Like, I do believe that fight should be next. Just because it's the biggest fight you can make with both of those guys, and it's a good way to bounce back Paddy Pimblett. Dude, I think Paddy Pimblett wins that based on what I saw. I feel like if Paddy Pimblett can make some sort of grappling happen, he wins that fight. But the reason that I think it would be exciting and people would be kind of torn about it is because Dan Hooker does have good takedown defense. Like, he actually is hard to take down. So, and we look at Paddy Pimblett against Gaethje not really being able to get takedowns. I think it would be a really fun fight. Capitalize on the beef. Get a big money fight out of Dan Hooker before he fucking falls off even worse. But yeah, good win for BSD. I think he does deserve to fight for like a BMF belt. If Max beats Charles and, you know, the next guy in line after Gaethje is Arman Tsarukyan, then BSD versus Max Holloway is a crazy sick fight. Because I do think that if Dan Hooker won, they'd probably be putting him in a BMF title fight. So I think that's fair. I think BSD versus Oliveira or Holloway is a fucking sick fight. He doesn't win either of those fights. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Max Holloway beats the brakes off this dude. Max Holloway puts a Calvin Kattar beat down on this dude. But I'd like to see it, man. So yeah, good win from BSD. Very, very good ground and pound. Featured fight of the night. I'm so glad I switched my pick from Fiziev to Ruffy in the build-up because Ruffy looked fucking amazing, dude. Dude, Ruffy genuinely looked so good. Like, at first, I kind of thought this was going to be a boring kind of sparring back and forth fight. I did say in my prediction for this fight, and I'm happy that I kind of called it correctly. I said I felt like Fiziev would land a lot of his kicks and make Ruffy miss on his kicks. But the difference would be Ruffy will land with his hands. Like Fiziev misses with his hands a lot, and then he'll find you with a kick at the end. And he was doing a good job. Some nice leg kicks, some nice body kicks. He was tracking down Ruffy against the fence, but couldn't really get going as actively. And once Ruffy kind of started to get comfortable, he was landing some really nice right hands over the top, moving around laterally against the cage, circled back in. And then in the second round, he put Fiziev on fucking jelly legs with the straight right, wobbled him really badly, a couple of follow-up shots. It seemed like it was going to be over, but Fiziev managed to kind of get back up and then stumble away. And then once he fell down the second time, that was basically it. So Ruffy, really, really clean victory with the hands. Nasty straight right, put Fiziev down bad. And it was a pretty good, I think that's a pretty impressive win and a pretty good performance considering Justin Gaethje dropped this guy and couldn't finish him. And, you know, Fiziev and Gaethje, they have these two really close fights, and Gaethje's obviously in the top 5. He's the interim champion right now. Ruffy just smoked Fiziev, low-key. Like, that is a crazy fucking win. So both BSD and Ruffy, they're climbing up into the top of that division. I do think that Ruffy, I can see him getting a big fight. I really feel like a Michael Chandler fight. Like, how funny would it be if the UFC is like, listen, kid, Conor McGregor, listen, Mike, the best we can do for you is fucking Mauricio Ruffy in Brazil. Isn't he fucking awesome? Like, I could really see Dana just sliming out Chandler, giving him Mauricio Ruffy. I think that's a good fight to make. Maybe you do Ruffy versus Moicano on short notice now that Ortega's pulled out of that fight. I think something along those lines. Ruffy versus Chandler, Ruffy versus Moicano. Do not let Beneil Dariush step foot in a fucking cage with this guy. Please don't do that to my boy. As for Rafael Fiziev, send him to featherweight. Brother, send this guy 2-3 years Weight Watchers and forget, brother. This guy, please just go to featherweight, dude. Fiziev would be so fucking badass at featherweight, dude. And that's my point on the main event as well. I didn't really get to talk about it. Diego Lopes, yes, there's the Yair Rodriguez fight, which I think we all want to see. That would be a sick fight, right? Maybe the time has passed with the beef, okay? If Diego Lopes versus Yair Rodriguez isn't the move, send Diego Lopes up to 155. Could you imagine Diego Lopes versus fucking Dan Hooker, dude? Diego Lopes versus like Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira. Those are crazy fights. I think that's a great idea. His chin is cracked. He's a huge featherweight. He has great grappling. And I think with Fiziev, it's the opposite. You're not big enough or powerful enough to be at 155. I think Fiziev, his build, his skill set, all this shit, his athleticism, at 145, this dude's going to be a nightmare to fucking deal with. I really feel like Fiziev is missing out on a ranked run not fighting at featherweight. You're telling me this guy can't beat Dan Ige and fucking Calvin Kattar and fucking, you know, Yusuf Zalal? Like, I would pick Fiziev to beat fucking Yusuf Zalal, dude. I'd pick him to piece up Josh Emmett for 5 rounds. I think Fiziev should go down to 145. I think Ruffy should get Michael Chandler. Now let's talk. Listen, bro. If you laugh at anything in this fight, you are literally getting sent to hell, bro. Yes. I was wearing the Tuivasa shirt and I witnessed this live. Yes, the building was literally fucking rumbling and I thought, oh my god, did Tai Tuivasa fall over backstage or something? Bro, this fight was so bad, but it was so entertaining because you got to understand from my perspective, and if anybody was there in the arena, watching at home, I'm sure this was fucking dog shit. It's Taisumov Teixeira laying on Tuivasa, holding the fucking Dagestani handcuff for 2 rounds. He did get rocked a little bit here and there, like in between, but it was mainly just grappling control from Taisumov Teixeira. And then in the 3rd round, Tai Tuivasa locks in, starts trying to defend takedowns, pushing back Teixeira, who's clearly gassed out of his mind. Tuivasa rocks him. Taisumov Teixeira ends up on a single leg. And I think one thing that people may not have noticed, or I don't know, they were like, why isn't Tuivasa punching? Why isn't he throwing follow-up shots? First of all, he literally looked like a beached whale at points in this fight. Like, he was literally just laying there like looking over at the corner and shit, like it's our fault or something. Like, that's number one. But number two, Taisumov Teixeira just has these massive fucking hands and just held his wrists when he was in that turtle position in the front headlock. So I don't think Tuivasa could break his hands away and follow up once he hurt Teixeira, and he ended up kind of in that Anthony Smith balled up on the ground kind of position. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing because Tai Tuivasa picked it up late. I know no one ever thought they would hear the words Tai Tuivasa kind of out-cardioed someone. And, that 265 weight cut that he hit, man, the fucking TJ Dillashaw edits, they clutched up because round 3, he was the cardio monster walking down to Shera landing shots. But he did lose this fight pretty badly. He got blobbed in round 1 and 2. He got pieced up in the second round as well before a couple of takedowns. Every time Teixeira decided really to take him down, Tuivasa just blobbed to his back. Like, he just couldn't get up, and it's just, that's Tuivasa, bro. Like, I think this guy needs to be in a boxing setting, like a bare knuckle or a boxing or misfits or something like that. Like, imagine Tuivasa without takedowns involved. He's gonna be a fucking superstar, dude. The crowd was absolutely fucking insane during this Tuivasa fight. There was points where they were like stomping their feet and the room was shaking. Like going, get up Tuivasa, get up Tuivasa, all this shit. For us, it was like the main event of fucking WrestleMania. The Aussie and Kiwi casuals united as one to watch Tuivasa get blobbed. But yeah, this was a terrible fight. Thaleson Teixeira, this guy's gonna get chinned by anyone that actually has fucking takedown defense or anyone that has like one shot KO power. Yeah, Thaleson Teixeira, I mean, dude, not being able to submit or finish Tuivasa in this state is just fucking crazy. So I don't rate this guy very highly. I think that him versus Shamil Gaziev would be kind of a funny next matchup. But yeah, I don't see the Thaleson Teixeira title run happening, and I think Tuivasa genuinely needs to go to boxing, dude. Like, no disrespect to the man, he's a legend. But yeah, he needs to go to boxing. Opening up the fucking main card, Quillan Salkeld versus Jamie Mullarkey. How bloody good is this fucking Salkeld fella? How good is this guy, dude? Takes down Jamie Mullarkey. What did I fucking say, dude? What did I say in my predictions? I said I could honestly see Salkeld out grappling Jamie Mullarkey. He's that good. He will take him down, take his back, and rear naked choke him. That is exactly pound for pound, script for script, beat by beat, what happened. Quillan Salkeld is just so fucking good, dude. Jamie Mullarkey started off kind of on the pressure, got a takedown early on. Quillan Salkeld did a good job to get back up, reverse position. And then once he started to get offensive with the takedowns, with the body lock, took him down, got on top, got the finish very, very easily. Quillan Salkeld, you are the fucking future lightweight. Go, bro. This guy's so fucking good, dude. I want to see him fight someone like top 15 now, bro. If Fiziev stays at 155, give Quillan Salkeld Fiziev. I think that's a badass fight. I think that Beneil Dariush is completely plausible. We may need to slime out young Beneil Dariush to further the Quillan Salkeld agenda. I might even throw fucking King Green at this guy if he beats fucking whoever he's fighting next. Maybe we throw King Green in there. Maybe we throw Michael Johnson against Quillan Salkeld just for the memes. And then we give Quillan Salkeld a top 10 opponent. I don't know what is next for this guy, but something along those lines. I saw somebody talking about Esteban Ribovic versus Quillan Salkeld. Respectfully speaking, I love Esteban Ribovic. Quillan Salkeld beats his ass for a decision. I think we need to give him a ranked opponent right now, dude. I think that the momentum, the hype, the energy, the fucking 4-fight win streak, the finishes, the versatility. Like, I'm not trying to glaze. I'm not trying to be fucking that guy. But, like, dude, this guy is one of the best prospects in the UFC. This is genuinely JDM 2.0. I'm going to say that right now. Clip this, bro. Quillan Salkeld will be a lightweight champion. He is JDM 2.0. He is genuinely the next JDM. He's going to go on a sneaky fucking win streak. I think he's going to run into some ranked guys and win some decisions. And then he will find his way into a title shot and he will end up as champion. That's my prediction, dude. Quillan Salkeld's the GOAT, man. The prelims were also very entertaining. I had hope, bro. I had hope. I genuinely believed that Junior Tafa was going to win this fight because the first round, he was kind of in flow state. He was kind of in jiggle state, dude. Like, he was genuinely, like, defending takedowns and piecing up Billy Elekana. Dropped him really badly in the first round. And then in that second round, it looked like, shit, dude, Tafa's kind of fucking winning this. Billy Elekana, once he finally decides to go to the takedown, gets to the back straight away, locks up the rear naked choke pretty fucking quickly in that second round. Yeah, he started to kind of find his rhythm on the feet. I think that's what kind of sealed the deal. At first, he was really jittery, and Junior Tafa did a good job just defending the initial, just, oh my God, I'm going to take him down. Defended his takedowns, pieced him up a little bit, dropped him badly, like I said, in that first round. And then in the second round, Billy Elekana started to kind of land his own shots, land some hard combinations against Junior Tafa, kind of rock him around a little bit. Once he settled in on the feet, then he was able to time a really easy takedown, get to the back, get the rear naked choke. Yeah, pretty sad for Junior Tafa, dude. But yeah, Billy Elekana, he's pretty decent. It's not a bad loss, but it's just like, this is how you lose every fight in the UFC. It's clear, like, it's just, you know, it is what it is, dude. I don't want to be harsh. I don't want to say anything disrespectful. But that's like, this is like, in the words of Paul Feld, that's 3 times in a row now. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what happens now, dude. So, it's pretty tough to be like, yeah, dude, Junior Tafa needs to stay in the UFC light heavyweight division, bro. This guy's fucking goated. You know what I mean? It's just tough, dude. You can't give it to him after that. So, good win for Billy Elekano. Rest in peace, Junior Tafa, bro. Cam Ralston versus Cody Brundage. I was this close to getting a perfect prediction. I said Cody Brundage is like sneaky hard to TKO. Cam Ralston did a good job defending some takedowns, landed some nice shots, some straight rights. Cody Brundage had a little, you know, a couple blockhead blitzes here and there, couple of big moments here and there. But then eventually Cam Ralston did kind of force a bad takedown out of Cody Brundage, hurt him on the feet in the second round. Brundage went to that Anthony Smith kind of single leg. I was so proud watching Cody Brundage do. It was like watching prime Anthony Smith, which I'll never get to do, unfortunately. But I will be able to tell my grandkids, yeah, you know what? I did watch prime Cody Brundage. Like curl up into a ball and, you know, get ground and pound TKO'd. So this was a good win from Cam Ralston. We'll talk more about Cam Ralston in my next video. Okay, he's the new character on the channel. But yeah, this was a good win for Cam Ralston. I liked his post-fight speech as well. Jacob Malkoun versus Torres Finney, dude. All I wrote down was, in my notes, in the arena, this guy next to me was like, damn, you're a fucking hardcore, because I was writing down notes after every fight. All I wrote was, we have caught and compromised to a permanent end the terrorist known as Torres Finney. The only way it would have been better is if Malkoun actually finished him, dude. When Malkoun was piecing him up in the first round with the jabs and the right hands and knocking him down and all this shit, hurting him, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm witnessing Osama bin Laden get shot. Like, I'm actually witnessing the moment of Torres Finney finally losing after stinking up the fucking UFC with one of the worst performances I've ever seen. But yeah, dude, this was a dominant fucking beatdown from Jacob Malkoun. Pieced him up on the feet, out-grappled him, out-cardioed him. Torres Finney tried his best in a couple of moments in the third round to land some big shots. But this was a very, very dominant victory from Jacob Malkoun. Second round was a 10-8. Yeah, he put belt to ass on Torres Finney. There's no other way to say it. Not much else to go into. Jonathan Micallef, very, very good performance. Started out a little bit shaky against Oban Elliott. Got pieced up a little bit, had a cut kind of open from a grazing kind of overhand. And I was worried for him, man, because he couldn't really get his kicks going, couldn't get those body kicks or those head kicks going. And Oban Elliott looked a little bit more confident on the feet. He was starting to piece him up with the jab, with the right hand. Like I said, cut him open. And didn't even really need to mix in his wrestling either. But then in that second round, Jonathan Micallef, I feel like he started to get a little bit more comfortable on the feet. And once that happened, and once he got to that body lock position against Oban Elliott, he just kind of big brothered him. Like, he is just a big, strong, physical welterweight. He did a good job defending some initial takedowns from Oban Elliott due to his frame and his size and just getting those underhooks. And then once he had Oban Elliott against the fence and got that backside trip and just sat him down, took his back, locked up a rear naked choke. Respects to Oban Elliott for not tapping, for going out like a fucking gangster. But that was a really good win for Jonathan Micallef. The crowd was fucking hyped for it. And all in all, man, this was a great fucking card. I don't know if I'm slightly like biased. Maybe I don't know why I would be biased in thinking this was a really, really good card. But this was better than UFC 324 by a very good amount. This was a very, very entertaining card, top to bottom. The road to UFC fights were great as well. I do want to say that Don Marfan had a fucking insane performance. That was so entertaining. Outstruck the guy, got his takedowns going, reverse position, emoting, making exciting moments. I felt bad for Sebastian Saleh. He kind of got fluked in that third round. He was winning the first 2 rounds pretty clearly. Doing a good job against Nakamura. Got caught with a knee up the middle in that third round. And the GOAT, Lawrence Louis, got a win as well. I do have to address this, bro. Khan Offley, bro. You know I'm a fan of you, dog. You know I fuck with Genghis Khan Offley like not many other people do. He did not win this fucking fight. I cannot believe. I was literally going to the bathroom taking a piss when I heard through the stadium walls, winner by majority decision, Khan Offley. I don't know what the fuck they gave this guy the fight based on. He got dropped, like, it says 1 knockdown. I counted at least 3, bro. Like, he got stumbled, rocked, pieced up. The second round was like completely one-sided for Yija. I thought the third round you could give the Khan Offley. The first round, I guess, was close, but I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't think he won this fight. The rest of this card was great. I'm going to say this was like an 8 out of 10. I'm going to say this was like an 8 out of 10, like an 8.7 out of 10 type shit. I think if the Tuivasa fight ended in a finish and the Lopes Volk fight was maybe a little bit more intriguing, like maybe Lopes came with a different game plan, or, you know, obviously if Volkanovski had got a finish, I think that would push it up into like a 10 out of 10. But all things considered, this was a great event. This was a great day. Shout out to all the people that came up to me, that recognized me, man. Like I said, I've got some really cool stuff to talk about with my whole trip, all the fans that I met, all the UFC fighters that I met, because I had some crazy moments, you know, meeting all these dudes. So stay tuned for my next video. I'm not exactly sure when it'll be. I'll try and get out as quick as I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. And I will see you guys in the next video, man. Goodbye.